So we're the Machasons,
Yeah.
and sort of previously known or individually known as Kojo the Bard, myself, and Man Like Joe. We're rappers, I suppose, essentially, but we're producers as well, and sort of poets and everything, really. We make a bit of all-rounders in the music game. Been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Involved with a couple of different crews. Involved with a crew called the Go For It Tribe, who we do some stuff with. And then we were in a crew called For Ronin as well, that was like a pretty big sort of UK hip-hop collective. And that's where me and Joe kind of found each other, really, wasn't it? That was like the start of our journey.
How long have you known each other?
Like maybe 8 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a tight relationship.
And we knew each other like through music. Like it was like we met through music and started making music together. And then obviously Joe's my brother now. But like that's lost. It was like through music. It wasn't like we knew each other elsewhere and then started doing the music. It was like just a purely sort of musical brought together, wasn't it?
I mean, we were both in like working with different people and falling into problems that you do with creative differences and things.
Right.
But we've always kind of gelled, you know what I mean? We've always been on the same page musically and he's very easy to work with, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what it was, So we was both sort of fucking with different crews at the time.
Yeah.
And we done a show. It's like a really little intimate venue. It was like almost like a sort of showcase that a guy called Marcus Mandible put on in Brighton, a place called Junkyard Dogs.
Yep.
And it's like cool little venue. Don't. I mean, it looks packed with like not many people in there. And it was a busy night. And it was cool. It was like there was a few different acts they'd been invited to come down and do their thing. A couple of poets and stuff that were doing their thing as well. And that's when I first met Joe. And Joe was in a crew called the Flying Squad at the time.
Okay.
And they got up and did their thing. A dope crew, to be fair to them. But Joe was like kind of stand out for me. When I was watching it, I was like, oh shit, like this guy can bar. Because you know what it's like, bro. Like you turn to be, there's so many people on the scene, and even like big names that people know that are like a big established artist, and like when you see them in those environments where it's like a cypher or it's on stage, and like they're not that great rappers.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
So I'm not saying like people weren't great that were there. There were some good artists there, but Joe was like definitely for me was like the standout out of that. And I remember just being like, "Yo, this guy's cold." And we chatted a little bit afterwards, but we were kind of in different crews. I was messing about with some other guys down that way at the time, and a bit nomadic, like how I am, a bit gypsy in my ways. Like I wasn't ever really like in a crew.
Got you.
I just kind of was like affiliated with different things and working with different people and kind of moving around a little bit.
Yeah.
But then the guy that put on the event, Mandy, he basically shouted at me and said, "Look, we're doing this like mixtape. Do you want to come through and work on it?" So I was like, "Yeah, cool, man. I can put a verse on something." Went down. That song was a song called Donuts, which became the For Ronin's like third debut single. So jumped in the studio, Joe's studio. He was producing the whole thing.
Okay.
And then there was another lad who come through to do a verse on a different song called Jude. But he turned up towards the end of my session,
right? And
I was just hanging about a bit, like, because I was quite impressed with like what Joe was doing and stuff, and like, and so I sat in on his session, and while he was barring it, I wrote a verse for it. Just because that's what I do, you know what I mean? I hear beats and I just start. But even like when I've been with you, bruv, like, I start writing stuff to your stuff and like, and then I don't know if it was Joe clocked it or Mandy, and someone was like, "Well, like, what you sort of scribbling all out there? What you got?" And I was kind of like, "Oh, no. Like, no, go and like get up on the mic." And I was like, "All right, cool." Got up and it's just like a one take thing. It was just like, yeah, boom, done the verse, and they were like, "Yeah, cool." Just extended the song a bit, put down the end of it, and that was Bloody Samurai, wasn't it? That one.
That was, yeah.
So that's how we met, and then Ronin was doing good, and then like a lot of acts at the time when COVID hit, it kind of turned things upside down because we had like a lot of venues that we were doing like almost residentials at that time, wasn't it? And they were gone. They just worked. They were gone, not coming back.
Survive,
and then the two other lads that were involved in the project were kind of for different reasons, stuff going on and that, and they sort of decided to step away a bit from it. But me and Joe were like loving making music together, and it's like Joe was saying, it's a really easy process with Joe. And music ain't always that, man.
It can be different, innit?
And it's just so
synergy isn't easy to find.
Definitely.
Like, we both we agree a lot, like taste wise. We kind of have a very similar taste on things. Very different approaches to how we work, but that complement each other really well. And in terms of our writing styles and that. and we will like tell each other if we think things are shit. And we take it and we look at it and we work with that and we dissect it
Bro, that is a good place to be in, because not everybody can take that constructive criticism.
Exactly.
So like you could be in a session with someone and it could even be going well, but then the moment you're like, oh, do you know what? Let's try. You can see emotions creeping in or ego, all of that kind of stuff. So if you guys are saying you got that level of synergy, number one, I understand, and number two, congrats, bro.
No, it's a rare gem, bro.
100%. 100%.
So no, we got gratitude for that. And I'd say like we work at it and like, but it is easy, man. Really, it ain't like it's still graft in the sense of like from like our music is graft, but it like it don't feel like it when we're doing it because we enjoy the ride, man, and enjoy the process. And we got shit to say as well, bro. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean?
I hear that. Do you know what? Based on that, you lot have got a lot to say. How would you, not necessarily describe yourself, but if you had to prepare somebody who hadn't heard you before, heard of your music, how would you guys prepare them for what they're about to hear? Let me pose it to you that way. How would you prepare a new listener?
What do you reckon? What do you reckon, John?
I think at the moment what we have out is very, I would call traditional hip hop. It has a certain sound. It has certain themes that are, we have our how would you say, we have our uniqueness, the way, the things that we talk about.
Right.
We put a lot of Celtic mythology and stuff like that in our music, which is, unusual.
That's quite like a...
That's quite
kind of
unique.
accurate represent. So we're basically just a couple of Irish lads who grew up English and feel a bit confused, I think, about where we fit into Britain in a British society.
Would you say that Irish identity feeds into you lot's music?
Massive. And broader, not just
stuff,
Irish, Scottish, Welsh, Celt, the Gypsy heritage, like it all forms part of that, but it's this disconnect, which I think a lot of other people can identify with as well. Because we're not the only ones. There's a load of people, come from all different parts of the world. And like second, third generation, and maybe they don't have those connections back,
to back home.
And it's like, where do you kind of fit in? Because you're not really British, but and you're made very aware of that in terms of like you growing up, learning about the troubles and stuff at school from like a different perspective to how you're in it at home, and these sort of things. It's very conflicting. But just so where do we fit into that, and just kind of doing our things and trying to be authentic as we can with what we're doing, and just having that shine through. So by us just being us, that does come out, and so you do hear a lot of these references to like Celt mythology and folklore, and even like a bit of Gaelic slang we'll throw in there sometimes, don't we? And
although we have got a sort of a sound at the moment, we have a wide range, you know what I mean? We got a lot of stuff coming out that is very different, you know what I mean? But, we're trying to make it like a journey, so, try and sort of make it a smooth transition into something else from where we
that's the thing, like with the question, it's like, how would you describe Machasons, like, as it is? And it's like, like hip-hop, but like, the stuff that we've been putting out this year is stuff we made like 3 years ago. So we got like scheduled releases for like next 2 years lined up.
Crazy.
And then other projects on it ain't, we're not silly. Like we've been, we're long in the tooth, bruv. Like we've been doing this a long time, and it's a tough graft, man. So like for us, it's about, let's sit down after COVID and all that. Me and Joe sat down, and we had different projects going on, heavily involved with the Go For It Tribe album, Mickey guy that come out, done a load of work we put into that. But we were like working behind the scenes and all these things, and it's like, people look at you and they're like, oh, they've been a bit quiet. It's like, no, bruv, I've been busy, bruv.
We're working,
like, this is the thing. People don't see it. They don't realise like what we're doing. And then when we start dropping, that was always the plan. September this year, wasn't it? Ikigai album dropped in June. So we were like, we're going to do what we committed to do for the tribe.
Right.
And then after that, we'll do all the promo and that through the summer. And then we're going to then step away a little bit. Like, not in as much as that we're not doing, we still do stuff with them, but kind of stepping away to work on this.
On your own,
so it's like, September we dropped Double Slash, which was like a sort of Wu-Tang kind of tribute song. Like, it's Wu-Tang as fuck, man. And it slaps, and then the next release was October, so that was Weirdo, which is like, we put out like sort of Halloween track, which is us just getting a bit fucking weird of it, innit? He's got a sick lyric in it. What's that, De Niro lyric in that? Staring in the mirror like De Niro, coming out my yard, I'm a hero. Bro, like, there's all these like sick little wordplays in it. I've got some lyric about vampires. What's the bit about raised by a pack of werewolves in the wildwood, danced barefoot on the ashes where vampires stood. Like, it's like,
yeah.
But it's like, it ain't like what you're hearing like road rappers spitting about, or
No,
even
not
like
at all.
it's like
Not
it's
at
still
all.
a bit. It's got a bit of ag to it, but
No,
it's like
100%. But it's got poetry to it at the same time. I think that's one thing that I like about hearing you lot's bars, which brings me onto something that you showed me the other day that I'd like to question you about. Talk to me about White Jesus.
Oh snap!
Yeah. What's White Jesus all about?
So White Jesus is a song that we're dropping on Good Friday this year.
Yeah, ironic.
I mean, it's not an accident, but it's a banger. Like, it's like a really solid kind of uplifting hip hop banger.
Yeah.
That kind of stemmed initially from like Joe having this like kind of spiritual journey and like a vivid vision of this song being created.
Yeah.
And then coming out of that and being like, well, okay, like, let's trust energetically that is a thing. Like, this is an omen, this is a sign, this is something to follow.
Yeah.
And let's work out what this looks like.
Right.
And so the process for the whole song has literally been a case of us playing with it and then going, we will know when we see it or when we hear it. We will know that that's the right thing.
Yeah.
And just playing about until we go, that's
Until you
it.
get
So
there,
it's almost like remembering it rather than creating it. But I think,
That's
Joe,
very
you should
interesting.
tell them a bit more about like the kind of concept behind it and that. And
Yeah, man. Well, at the time that it was written, I was going through a lot of sort of upheaval. It was a weird time of my life. Do you know what I mean? I was quite isolated and was going through a lot of trials, innit? And so it was a very weird time. And this producer, Harry D, he sent me this beat, and as soon as I heard it, like, I just had this vision, innit? Yeah, and I knew that if we did this, then something would happen, innit? So it's like, like a field of dreams kind of moment. Like, and it wasn't easy to make the song, I ended up falling out with a producer for like a year.
Crazy.
So we had to get shelved, you know what I mean? Normally with a song like that, you'd probably just give up on it after a while, innit? Because it's just like, there's too many things just going against us, you know what I mean? Like, I had the idea, as I say, but my bars weren't really cutting it. Like, Murky came in and just done a sick verse, and like, I was just a bit stumped for ages on it. And like, I kept sending my verses in, and then the producer was like, there was something wrong with it. There's always something wrong with it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, how long did it take to make this?
it took longer than it should have, but exactly as long as it needed to.
Okay. I hear that.
Like, I feel like it was important that it took the route that it did to get to what it is.
Okay, cool.
Because it could have been easier earlier. And this is what I'm saying before about us being holding each other to a higher caliber. Is like, if I hear Joe come with something, don't get me wrong, bro, right? And like, I don't know if I'm gonna put myself out of fucking business with this, right?
Yeah.
But certain producers, like, they want a verse, bro, and like, they kind of get what they're given, and like, it will slap, but like, I'm not gonna go back in and start like making it perfect. But like, when we're working on our things, and like, as a disclaimer, like, if with a producer's everything, like, you'll get a good verse, innit? But it's just like, I'm not as precious with it, right? With our stuff, it's like, we will scrutinise it, bro, and like, it's like, no, go again, you can do this better, this can be better, this can be better.
I mean, it's your signature, innit?
Bro,
and once it's out there, it's out there.
And also, it's like, that's kind of like, that's why it is so good, because we level each other up. It's like sword sharpening sword, you know?
Yeah. 100%.
And it gets deep, and like, people say to like, oh, who's your favourite rapper, bro? And I'm like, Joe. Like, do you know what I mean, bro? Like, facts. And it's like, and it's like, we're just waiting for the world to catch up on that, to clock on and 100%. Be like, oh, yeah, this is actually fucking cold. Yeah.
Do you know what? To be fair, when you sent me the song, I had one of those moments where I was listening through and I was like, do you know what? These men are saying some stuff, you know? Are we able to, let's have a quick discussion let's start with the hook, because it's quite a simple one, but you lot are saying a few things in between at the same time. Who wants to deliver the hook for me so we can discuss it?
Maybe like, if you do you wanna talk about the the white Jesus element of it, and then I'll get into a bit about like those bits in between.
Yeah,
because
cool.
there's name drops. There's certain people,
Yeah.
like actual people that are named in the hook, and some people might hear those names and recognize the names, but go, "What the fuck has that got to do with this?" And so I'll get into that a little bit about what that's about, and what that represents.
Cool.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. So white Jesus, the premise of it, like, is influenced from songs like "Death Be the Penalty" by Shabazz the Disciple and "Bible" by Killer Priest. You know, those were the first kind of songs where I heard those kind of things being discussed in a song, and I guess nowadays it's not that much of a provocative thing to say Jesus wasn't white. You know, it's kind of obvious. But, you know, but there's still, you know, the most recognizable images of Christ is white. So it's an interesting topic. And yeah, as I was saying, I was going through like a quite a dark time of my life, and you know, obviously not as extreme as Jesus, but on some level, we all have periods of isolation and you know, choices to make over instant gratification, or you know, looking at the long picture of things. So that's basically what a song is about. You know, it's tongue in cheek, but it's also educational as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hear that. I like it. It's a strong message. So you wanted to?
Yeah. No, that's it, man. Exactly. And it's like, so it's this kind of concept of that, the identity of Christ, and like what that means to people and different people. And like we was having a chat earlier about like not being like dogmatic, but like who's your favorite Jesus? Like in terms of like imagery, because like you look all around the world, there's like different
there's
depictions.
loads,
And I was like, I think mine's Korean Jesus. Have you seen Korean Jesus?
I can't say I have, you know.
Korean Jesus is wham, bruv.
Is it?
He's like on the cross, right? His lats are like Bruce Lee lats, like popping out the side and that.
That's
big
jokes.
old traps on them. Like, bro. Like, I feel like if I need saving, like that's the guy.
Korean Jesus can come and
carry
help,
me
man.
like a child, man. Carry me across that river,
Creeper,
like,
man.
but yeah. So anyway, to get back into the hook, so there's names on the hook. So the hook basically goes Our Father, Sinatra, Siddhartha, and White Jesus. Hail Mary, Chuck Berry, Gene Kelly, and White Jesus. Right?
Break it down for us, mate.
So obviously the Our Father and Hail Mary are Christian prayers, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like a reference into that, and the White Jesus to be explained. So we got Sinatra, right? I'll talk about them kind of individually, but Sinatra and Gene Kelly kind of is a bit overlapping.
Okay.
And these were people, so Sinatra and Gene Kelly were kind of respectively the poster boys of their industries at the time when they were doing their thing, right? So these were sort of almost like these kind of like white Jesus figures in Hollywood, you know, and in the music scene and in Vegas. You look at Sinatra with a Rat Pack, and you know, Sinatra was the guy. Like he was the guy, mate. Loved by everyone, absolute golden boy, perfectly charming. You know, but with like ties to the mob, like real serious issues that were like some serious shit he was involved with behind the scenes. And he weren't the nicest person. Like when you read now about like a lot of people that work with him and stuff and doing stuff, it's like he weren't a nice guy. He was not a nice guy, but was put up as this sort of poster boy of music and just real smooth and romantic, and like that weren't the experience of people that were involved with him.
Right.
And the same for Gene Kelly. Gene Kelly got like Singing in the Rain, bruv, like sexually assaulted a young girl on that when he was filming it. He was a real womanizer, like, you know, like a proper piece of shit, bruv. Like the kind of guy like you give him a fucking slap, bruv.
Yeah.
But he was held up as this like poster boy of Hollywood.
Interesting.
And thing, and it's like, so that it's kind of looking at that and being like, well, what is that? And what is this idea that you can be clean of the clean and no one asks any questions, and the sort of wider connotation of that. So that's the first thing it looks at.
Right.
The reference to Siddhartha is a book by a guy called Hermann Hesse. Yes, he was like a German poet and author, and he basically traveled to India and found like kind of Eastern philosophy and spirituality, and then brought it back to Germany and to Europe and the West, but like massively bastardized it. So Siddhartha basically just follows this story of a young boy called Siddhartha, and like his sort of, I mean, like read the book in it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and talk about the book for an hour. But the point is it's kind of held up as being like this big, like kind of like Western idea of like these Eastern values, and it's like so oversimplified to the point where like it misses the point.
Yeah, right.
but it's just this idea of like, bro, it's such a like, it's not even like a white thing. It's just like a Western thing of like you'll get a mate who discovers meditation, right? And now they're a yoga instructor. It's like straight away, it's like, how do I monetize my spirituality?
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
I've had an
yeah.
enlightenment. How do I monetize this? And it's like, bro,
Yeah,
you've missed the point
I
of
hear
like
you.
what you've experienced and gone through, this beautiful
Right.
thing, and now
Yeah.
suddenly you're like, right, how do I make this into something where and it's part of that sort of Messiah complex as well. It's around that. The other person that's named in the hook is Chuck
Yep.
Berry,
Yes.
who I like Chuck Berry's music, man's all right, to be honest, yeah. And I kind of rate what he stood up for. I know the guy suffered like a lot of prejudice at the time. So basically what had happened is the labels and that at the time had like really like whiteified him.
Right.
Yeah, so he was like a black guy singing country music, and they was kind of, he weren't allowed to deviate into some of the more bluesy stuff that he wanted to play. He was playing this very straight kind of white country American sound.
Right.
They dressed him up in like fucking like a cowboy, basically, straightened his hair. In all like the posters and that for his shows, they'd like done stuff with the coloration to make him like appear white on the posters and that to draw the crowds. He had issues getting into shows. He turned up to like shows he was headlining, and they'd be like, "You're not coming in." He'd be like, "I'm Chuck Berry." Like, "No, you're not. He's a white guy." And he's like, "Well, he's not. He's here." There's like one famous one, big venue, and he got turned away. The promoter come in and went, "No, he's Chuck Berry. This is his band." And they went, "No, you're not playing here," because it was so racist and segregated at the time in the United States.
Yeah.
And so part of me was like, I always thought a bit like sort of fighting for Chuck Berry a little bit, but then I found out he's a convicted nonce. Yeah. So like it was even then I was like, oh, he's not really like the hero of the song.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, he's a villain as well within it. And so it's just kind of looking at these things, but that's the point of the concept of the song of it's like look a bit deeper. Look a bit deeper into things before you start like praising and laying down and doing
Like,
this.
what does it actually mean?
What does it mean? And people can be,
I hear you.
people can do good things and be horrible, and
100%.
people can do horrible things and be a good person, bro. Like it's not.
It's not so black and white, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I hear you. All right, that's very interesting. Now that we've gotten through the chorus, I've got some verse lyrics I'd like to inspect very quickly.
You've got them written down, so you probably know them better than we do.
I'm gonna go through it. Do you know what? There's one that we actually discussed before we started recording, Joe. Your opening line, yeah. I'm white, Jesus. Don't question my bro. How do you say the word, please?
Exegesis.
Exegesis. Yeah, go on. Explain what you mean by that.
Basically, exegesis means an interpretation of a religious text, basically. I first found that word from a book called Valis by Philip K. Dick, who is a science fiction writer. Yeah. The book itself is about his relationship with God. So, yeah, it's a very interesting thing. And you know, a big influence to myself, my own creative things. But, yeah, exegesis is basically your own interpretation of a religious text.
Okay, interesting. Do you have a bar from your verse or anything that you said in the song that you feel is like powerful, valuable, or something that you just like to put on this recording?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's kind of like there's different aspects to the verse. It's somewhat tongue in cheek, you know what I mean? It's meant to be a bit lighthearted, but it's also, you know, metaphorical. As I say, it's I like the bar. I think it's at the end. I say something about 144,000 bricks. The last one left out now fits soundly in. Obviously, it's like going back to the phrase of, you know, the stone the builder refused is the cornerstone, which is like it's a biblical thing. So yeah, I mean, there's a few bars in there. As I say, it took a long time to write, so I was quite meticulous in getting it right.
What's the Jesus Christ Superstar bar? It's my favorite.
What is that, Andrew Lloyd Webber or something?
Yeah. You know they done the musical, innit?
Yeah.
It's got a
So
clap for me.
You did a bar for that as well,
what's
yeah?
the vibe?
yeah, I just like Jesus Christ Superstar, clap for me. So obviously, you know,
Da Vinci Tapestry.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So there's a lot of things. It's very dense. The way I do my writing is you know, it's like a brick wall of bars. You know what I mean? There's sometimes it's hard to catch. You might have to run it back a few times.
It's like an anthology. You know, when you're like studying poetry at school, right? It's like you have to sit with it and like get in. Like you can listen to it and you're like, this slaps. But, like if you actually spend time with it, like mate, the Easter eggs that you uncover.
Yeah,
Easter eggs as well. White Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Like it's mad though. There's like so much hidden within the verses that like like for the discerning listener. Do you know what I mean?
I got you. All right, cool. I've got one last question for you guys, yeah, and this is surrounding the White Jesus song again, yeah. What message do you want people to walk away with? Is there an intended message? Do you want people to be able to interpret it for themselves? Like, yo, take from this whatever you will, or is there a particular intended message that you guys want to be able to convey to people that listen?
Good question. You go first.
So we're not pushing any sort of agenda with it. We're not trying to make people feel a certain way or think a certain thing, other than to just think and just consider it and listen to what we're saying.
Perspective.
And it's just about, bro, it's about being kind. Like, we're not saying like, oh yeah, like forget Jesus. Like, we're saying like, no, like be more like the true Jesus of like just the essence of what that means. Like, bro, there's so many, if you look at like, I don't want to get too political, and I'm glad they're out, but I don't think we got much better. But like the fucking Tories, bruv, like supposed to be like a party of like Christian values in this, bruv, and like everything they stand for, pretty much, is like against Christian values, bruv. Like Jesus was a socialist, bruv. Like, how are you gonna be a capitalist and be a Christian, bruv?
I hear
Facts,
you.
right?
Nah, I hear you.
And then it's like, would Jesus be like getting angry about like refugees trying to come into a country, bruv, that need saving? Like, would Jesus like preside over like austerity and poverty politics, bruv? And like, come on, man. Like, would they be like, dropping bombs on children around the world and making profit on it because they got shares in the companies that are manufacturing these arms? Like, bruv,
strong questions.
You
though.
cannot,
No,
you can't do them
you.
things in my mind and call yourself a Christian. And like, I practice however you want and dilute. I'm not fussed about what brand of Christianity or any religion that you have. But like, just be a nice person, bruv. And if you're going to preach about how you're a better person than other people because of these values that you hold, White Jesus, the middle class protagonist, like, epitomise the misplaced praise of these evangelists.
I hear you.
Like, that's what the song's about, bruv. It's talking about these concepts of people that walk through life thinking they're better than everyone else. But at the same time, are doing just shitty people, bro.
But then I guess it makes sense for some people. There's a veil up, and they're protected in terms of what people see. What do they call it? Presentation of self. So a lot of people will ride off of how they can present themselves or how other people perceive them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you see the whole picture, innit?
This is it, man. And it's like, bro, I think. And if you look at like any religion, right, I think like the spirituality behind a lot of it is like really good. And I think if you get with it and you mess with it and you get into it, like you can take a lot out of that and enrich your life. But at the same time, I feel like some of it is a bit like purposefully divisive and used as like a method of governing a people in a lot of the way that it's structured and organized sometimes, especially in some of the bigger organizations. I was raised like really staunch, like Irish Catholic upbringing, Irish Scottish Catholic upbringing. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I only get started on the Catholic Church, bruv. Like,
we'll be here all day, man.
That's not an institution that I can put any faith in.
Nah,
and then it's an institution that I grew up with, like, and took seriously, bruv. Like, when I tell you, bruv, we've known each other for a long time, but like, when man used to pray, bruv, until my knees were torn up, bruv, like, for things, and like, I was into it, bruv, like, and then I got more and more into it. I discovered like Islam when I changed schools a few times, obviously, but and then a lot of my pals, one school I went to, and I kind of got into that and learn more about that and was like, oh, wow, man. And then like Judaism, like other kids I knew, and like looking at that and realizing like, okay, so these three are the same, really. I know that might piss people off, but like the Abrahamic religions are like kind of originally coming from the same kind of place. And then, I learned more about like, Sikhs, Hinduism, Buddhism. Buddhism for me was one that kind of struck me. I think maybe because of my martial arts training. But it's one that hit with me. And then, just a few other texts, man, going down the rabbit hole with it. Like, the fact that, you've got references to Jesus in these other texts. Maybe not as Jesus, but like St. Isa, like, this is it, bruv. And then you've got, the agnostic, like your Gospels of Thomas and that. When there's a book called The Revelation of the Magi that was omitted from the Bible. That's like basically talking about, it's the nativity, bruv. but like from the perspective of the Buddhists that sent the wise men.
The wise men, yeah.
And then so you look at that story and go, okay, so we're taught like, okay, so 3 wise men turn up at the gates of this massive city, right? And the king demands to see them, to see what's going on and what you're doing in the ends. And then they're like, oh, we come to see the king. And he's like, he's not the king, I'm the king. And then they bring these gifts and like, don't really make sense, right? But then if you consider that like these were not just like 3 guys, but were like a whole caravan of like hundreds of people that turned up at the gates.
Right.
And these men were probably like, you know, trained in martial arts and combat and stuff as well. And then
job.
suddenly the guards are like, yo, go fucking tell the king, mate. Like there's a massive camp outside the city gates.
Yeah.
That makes sense that they then got invited in for an audience with the king, right? So like just historically, you're like, okay, well that makes more sense. And then they come and they go, how did you get it? How did you find? Oh, we followed the star. So what's the star mean? The star child, the Buddha child. Yeah, the next incarnation of the Buddha. That's this kid. And then what do they say to him? In this book, yeah, you're going to look after this kid, make sure nothing happens to him. We're going to come get him when he's of age, and we're going to take him off the train. You then flip through the Bible, but around the age of about 13, around the time he should be like getting a bar mitzvah. I remember he's Jewish in the Bible, right? He disappears for a bit. There ain't no text about it, right? And then he turns up again, he's like in his 30s, early 30s, and it's all kicking off. Revolution, right?
Yeah.
In the meantime, in these books, right, it says that they go and get the kid around that age.
Mad.
And they bring him back to like Tibet. And they teach him Buddhism and healing. And he's the most powerful healer they've ever encountered. Ever.
That's
like
mad.
he surpasses all the masters very, very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the top healer in the ends, right? And then at one point, in his early 30s, he says, guys, I've got to go. My people are being persecuted. And they're like, don't go, we need you here. And he's like, I have to go and save my people.
Wow.
And he returns. But what does he do straight away? Gets his disciples, right? And who does he pick? Fishermen, tax collectors, burly men that can fight, bruv. He gets 12 big guys to follow him around and be ready to die for him, right?
Yeah.
Like, nowadays you might be like, yeah, so what, mate? They just get moved to, bruv. Not in them days when all you had was a bow and arrow and a fucking stick, bruv. You're not getting near him, bruv. No one was touching Jesus, bruv. You look at like Putin's security teams, probably only like got less than 12 guys in the immediate close protection right next to him. He's probably got about fucking 30 that are there on side.
Yeah.
But in terms of 12 guys standing around you, bruv, you can go on the corner and say what the fuck you want, bruv. Even like nowadays, bruv, you would struggle to shut that down. If you had like 12 big burly guys that were about it.
Yeah.
Like, it don't take a lot to do that. And then suddenly, so then you build that gap into the gap in the Bible.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, this story makes it. Like, they're talking about the same guy.
Yeah.
And you get it with like the story of Noah and all these
That's
other
mad.
stories that are in all these different texts. You know what I
I've
mean?
heard something like this. I've heard something like this, but I've never actually read the text. I'd be very interested to delve into that one.
And I'd advise people to like do their own research as well.
Yeah.
I famously will embellish stories. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, don't ever don't be like, oh, I heard Mercutio about in the past say on a podcast. I'm gonna fucking die on this hill. Like, bruv,
yeah.
pick another hill to die on. That's my one, bruv.
I hear you.
But what do you reckon, Joe? What we saying with it, really? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
question things, isn't it?
obviously I echo what you said, but yeah, I mean, it's not like an advertisement for Christianity per se. We're not saying any particular school or sect is the right one, or even Christianity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I guess I would say that, you know, the thing with atheism and agnosticism, it could perhaps make you not follow the right protocols of things, you know what I mean? I'm not, you know, even if you don't believe in certain things, these teachings, these parables are something to live by and will help your life, you know what I mean?
100%.
So yeah, it's about, you know, just being the best version of yourself, really, whilst calling out some hypocrisies at the same time.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun with it. Like,
Yeah.
we've been purposely playful with it.
I can tell,
So,
yeah.
you know, Joe comes in and it's heavy poetry, but like there's some moment like that Jesus Christ Superstar, clap for me. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like you got these little moments that break up, and I come in and just rap as Jesus, and it's like, you know, Big J,
Like
fisherman's
telling your
friend, rep
your
for
story, innit?
Nazareth,
Yeah,
rise
yeah.
from death, just like Lazarus. Bro,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
these, but and then the third one where I come in, we just put it on the end, innit? Because we were like, it's good,
Yeah.
but it's missing what we normally bring to a track, which is a bit of that like, fuck you, go on, lads.
Yeah,
like, you
yeah,
show them,
yeah,
innit?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
get up. And then, so then we just put that on the end, didn't it? Tagged it on. It was, I was like, okay, so what if like Jesus was here now and he was just like trying to show down for man, innit? Yeah. And I was like, what? Like, how does he come on the track, bro? Like, what's he doing with me?
Yeah.
And then that's when it comes in, man. And it's like, you know,
Okay.
Pete Parker, the web slinger, that like all that whole scheme at the end there is just like, yeah, that's
Sick.
what it is.
Yeah.
I like that. So you said it's out on Good Friday, yeah?
Dropping on Good Friday.
All
Yeah.
DSPs, I'm assuming.
It's gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be unavoidable.
Love it.
And yeah, we'd get people to have a listen to it, see what they think.
Yeah.
If they love it, like, yeah, great. If they hate it, yeah, great. It's art. It's supposed to make you feel something, man. Like, if you listen to it and feel nothing at all, that's when I get a bit like, feel like I wasted my time a bit, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but like, yeah, I feel like you if you stick with it, like, if you just want to play it and not really get into it, like, you'll enjoy the song. Like, musically, sonically, it's a nice song. But if you want to actually get into it a little bit, like, you can get a lot out of that song, bro. I mean, all our songs really, but this one, like, yeah, it's got some. Yeah. If you take some of the bars and make notes and then go and research those things and go down the rabbit holes, like,
some stuff,
bro, like,
end up in the spiral, mate.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you in the meantime, before the song's out, how do they do this?
Best thing's Instagram, man. Like, we like reluctantly run a Facebook page. But like, Insta's kind of easier for us, I think.
Yeah.
We got the email, and there's all the contact details on the email as well. We everyone's always trying to get us to do TikTok, bro, but it does my Swede, bro.
I'm on the same page as you, my friend.
Even like, there's a young guy from the tribe called Kyrese, yeah. Brilliant up, bro. I'll show you a couple bits afterwards. Kai, cool. Fucking top lad, mate.
Yeah.
But he was like kind of showing me how to get to group, and he's just, bro, he's so involved, and he's so. It ain't my kind of thing, man. And I think we used to put a bit of pressure on ourselves to try and be a bit more down with the kids, innit? And recently we've been like, no, fuck that. We're just gonna do our thing, yeah. And like, the right people to hear it. And the thing is, like, because we're a bit more mature artists, innit? Yeah. Like, you're finding that now. We're finding there's this sound, and like the older people, like, yeah, that's a bit of me. But then the youngsters are fucking with it as well, aren't they? But they do tease us a bit, don't they? Some of the young guns on the tribe and that, like. Yeah. But yeah. It's funny, man. Trying to get them to show you how to use TikTok, and it's like trying to show your nana to work the fucking TV or something.
I have no desire, bro, none at all to learn this whole TikTok stuff. I swear down. Like, do you know what? Sometimes someone will send me like a link on WhatsApp or something. I'll be like, oh, sorry, I can't open it. They're like, yeah, but it's just a TikTok. It's like, I literally can't. I don't have the means to open this. Like, even if I want to watch this, I can't. Sorry, mate. Yeah. But yeah.
I'm sure it was really good.
Yeah. I trust it. I trust you.
It's a good quality.
I believe in you.
Good quality clip.
Yeah. Thank you for the insight, guys. I appreciate
thank you.
That. Sorry, Joe, you were about to say?
No, I was going to say Instagram probably is the best way to contact us.
If you want a quick response, innit? Send us a DM on Insta, and then we'll chat. But there's no
Insta, not Facebook.
There's no one else. Like, if you reach out to us, like, it's me and Joe you're chatting to on the thing, but we ain't got like teams of. Don't get me wrong, we've had people that have been interested in doing things and this, that, the other, but. Right. And I'm not against it for the right person or the right people. But we ain't found that yet. We ain't found that. And we've had a lot of people talk a lot of shit about all these things they're going to do for us and this, that, the other. But it's a lot of talk.
100%. You got to be careful of that in the industry.
This is it, man. Yeah. But no, we're open to it, man. I think, to be honest, really and truly, we would probably do well off having some sort of management to just push it along. Because we're artists, man. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's finding the right person, bruv, because otherwise it's just a fucking headache, innit? If anyone's out there who wants to manage us and you're decent and you're easy to work with, then obviously shout us.
That's it, man. The right person is important, man. I reckon you guys are better off as you are, as opposed to just having anybody or the wrong person.
Exactly.
Worst case scenario, man. Yeah. You got this, man.
Yeah, and we got enough people. Like, the thing is, we've been in the game a long time. Like, we know a lot of people. This is what's interesting about it, because obviously we're relaunching as well. Like, Machasons hadn't dropped anything before September, and so a lot of the numbers and that, like, they're growing. And we're getting good track, but like, it takes a little while, doesn't it, to like get a bit of momentum.
Of course, yeah.
And so people that are like new to us and jumping on it, and they're like, firstly surprised by the caliber. They're like, oh, where's this come out of nowhere? And it's like, well, no, because we've been honing the craft for a very long time. But also, a lot of people know about us. There's a lot of like artists that like. I ain't gonna sit here and fucking start name dropping people, but like, bro, like household names that I know that have heard the music and stuff, and they're like, yeah, fuck with it.
Sick.
You know, I mean, it'd be nice for someone to put us onto things, but I understand from conversations with other people that like, it ain't always that simple when people are signed into certain arrangements and stuff. But like, people know about it, so then when we're dropping stuff, and it's like getting that recognition from people that we look up to in the industry as well. And then the new people coming in and being like, oh, fucking hell, yeah, it's a bit all right, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
It's like, yeah, it is.
I hear you. No, that's dope, man. Well, thank you for firstly sharing all of that with me. Thank you for choosing me in the first place to speak about this with. But I've learned a little bit about this white Jesus concept. Obviously, I already know you guys, but I've learned a bit more today, so thank you for that. yeah, so that's it. If anyone wants to get in contact with you, Instagram, not Facebook, not TikTok, ideally.
You can
won't-
use Facebook.
You won't find us on
It's just-
TikTok.
Yeah,
You
okay,
can
so you're not on
get
TikTok.
in touch on Facebook, but like
You might not get an
bro,
instant
we
reply.
reluctantly use Facebook. You
I
know?
get you, yeah.
Instagram, like you DM us on Instagram, I'll message you back. Me or Joe message you back. Yeah.
Boom. There you
And
go.
we're open to doing bits, so you know.
All right, cool.
But we're very picky as well.
Is it?
Yeah, bro. Do you know how many beats we get that we just? And it's no offense to anyone, but
just
it's just,
ignore.
bro, we're very
Yeah.
selective over who we work with.
I mean, it's art, isn't it? You have to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, even as an enthusiast, you can't be out here just buying every piece of art. You know what I mean? So
That's it, man.
that's what it is. It's facts.
I mean, it's the process. You know, we're happy when we're making music. Do you know what I mean? All the other aspects we have to do. You know, like promotion and
Reluctantly.
you know
Yeah,
all of that.
It's
but
just part of the game, innit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
we just make the music, though, innit?
That's it.
That's it. It's the most important part, though,
Yeah.
man.
Facts,
Yeah.
man.
So yeah, most definitely, guys, keep doing your thing and make sure you keep sending me them exclusives, man. I love it.
Yeah, we got another one for you. I'm gonna show
Yeah?
you. Well, not live, but
Alright,
once you switch
once
this
we
off,
turn these off,
I've
yeah,
got
yeah,
something
yeah.
to play you. The next one that's dropping next month is banger, man.
All right, cool. Say no more. Well, on that note, we are signing out. Thank you very much for inviting me and thank you for coming down, guys.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you.
Man. It's
It's
been
a pleasure. Yes, definitely. Let's do this again soon sometime, yeah?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, peace.
Sick.
Peace.